Welcome to the Whiskey Preacher. I'm your host, Phil Shepard, better known as the Whiskey Preacher, and I've entitled this vidcast Safe Spaces and Unlikely Places, Part 2. 2. Before I go any further, those of you who watch the Whiskey Preacher vidcasts on a regular basis, I want to apologize to you. I've been experimenting with a new camera and some new editing apps, or whatever you want to call them, programs that have been messing a little bit with how I do my vidcast. But until I figure out how to do that better, I'm just putting it on the shelf a little bit and just sticking back to my original plan until I can make a better vidcast again. So there you have it. So let's dive into the conversation. How do we define what a safe space is? Is it a place that anybody can come to? Is it a place that's open and affirming to not only the LGBT community but to everyone? And I want to put my own response to that question is that I do think that those places do exist. I do think that those places are trying to exist as best as they can. That even I'm the first one to believe that I don't, and to say that I don't believe in unequivocal inclusivity. Like, there are boundaries that have to happen within communities to make it a safe space for people. This has been a big argument around a lot of places, that how inclusive can you be? I mean, does that mean that people are allowed to come into your community whether they believe what you believe or not, which is not necessarily important to me, but can they healthily be in a community and still deteriorate the community? Can they, and does that really make them a part of the community if that the only purpose is that they are there to tear it down? These are hard questions that we have to ask in these communities that we have created. And go back to the first vidcast again, just for a second. Another question was proposed, is that the church, has it ever been this safe place, this safe haven, or are we living in illusionment of the good old days that never really existed? And I think we are. I think we have never been totally open and welcoming to anyone who truly comes through the doors. I think, and this has been said many times, that I don't think even Jesus himself would be allowed into many of our churches because he doesn't act, talk, smell, have the rhetoric, or look the way we think he should look. And so I think the church has always tried to strive to be that place, but whether we ever get there or not, I think that's still up for debate. Like I said in the very first vidcast, I think there are communities that are trying to do that, and in some places very healthily. I won't say successful. I wanted to say successful, but I think that's an overused word. I think healthily they're trying to do that, and stumbling like any other human institution, that we have these stumbles and we have these falls, and none of us are perfect. And again, I don't like that word perfect. You've heard me say that before on my vidcast and podcast before, that I think we have overplayed the word perfect within churches. So I want to jump to the next part of this vidcast, is the unlikely places where these safe spaces can be. I want to ask, have you found a safe space in an unlikely place? And if so, where has that been? I would like you to comment in the comment section below. You, again, have this conversation on Twitter, the hashtag is the # Whiskey Preacher, or go to the Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/Whiskey Preacher. Don't forget to like it and have this conversation. I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a safe space in an unlikely place? Thanks again for joining the Whiskey Preacher, and I look forward to your comments.